Hello and welcome back to another End Up Weather video. Today we are back in the East Pacific. Now the last video I did on the East Pacific was the possibility that Hurricane Darby hits Hawaii. Now that is still a possibility. I'll link that video in the cards above. But today I want to talk about this disturbance here in the East Pacific, which has a 90% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. Now, it is currently offshore of southern Mexico, and showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad area of low pressure located a few hundred miles south of the Gulf of Tehuantepec are beginning to show some signs of organization. Environmental conditions are forecast to remain conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression is expected to form well offshore of the coast of southern Mexico on Friday or Saturday. The disturbance is forecast to move westward to west-northwestward at about 10 miles per hour while remaining offshore of the southern and southwestern coasts of Mexico. Now, I've already said that this has a 90% chance of formation through 5 days, but in the next 48 hours, it has a 50% chance of cyclone formation. So we are starting to see things get a little bit more organized here. You can see on the satellite imagery here, you have the center of rotation right in here, but you still have a little bit more of that development to go before this becomes a tropical depression, which seems a lot more likely now. So, starting off here with the GFS. Here's our broad area of low pressure. You can see that it's still extremely wide, but as we start to move through time, it's going to slowly consolidate and get more compact, and eventually we will see a tropical storm out of this, maybe even a hurricane here. The GFS has this going all the way down. I believe the lowest here was 965 millibars, and at that peak strength, let's take a look at our wind speeds there. Yep, definitely over Cat 2 there, so potential for a strong hurricane, as a matter of fact. Now, this seemingly, from the GFS standpoint, will form around, what is that? That is Saturday, so midday Saturday, and as of right now, it does cross that 20 degrees north threshold, which is usually when these East Pacific storms start to weaken. And it crosses that threshold at about 981 millibars, and that is the 21st, late in the day. So after that point, it'll slowly start to weaken off. But right now, we're still seeing the East Pacific be very active. Now, we're in the beginning of July, and originally we were not expected to see a active East Pacific hurricane season. We were expected to see a potentially hyperactive Atlantic season. So the slowdown is yet to come. Of course, by a slow East Pacific hurricane season, that's not like there's going to be no hurricanes in the East Pacific. It just seems like we're on a pace right now that's not going to be sustainable in the long run. But I think that right now we could see up to, this would be the 5th storm if it gets named, so maybe up to 10 storms. And then we'll start to see it slow down a bit more, and then the Atlantic will ramp up going into August, September, October, maybe even into November. They're still predicting over 15, close to 20 named storms. So we'll see there. Now let's take a look at the European model. The European model is kind of showing that same trend here, that low pressure starting to consolidate and get a little bit more closely wrapped around the center of that low. And about the same time, maybe a little later here, in the East Pacific, yeah, it's moving more northwesterly on the European model, and has it kind of close to the southwest coast of Mexico as a tropical storm, probably forming here on the 17th, which I believe is Sunday. and crossing that 20 degrees north threshold probably early on the 18th, and it starts to slow down. So you kind of have the differences in strength correlating to the differences in direction. So if the storm moves more northwesterly, we'll see it, of course, start to diminish in strength faster because it'll cross that 20 degrees north threshold faster. Now, if it moves more west-northwestward, we'll see it gain more strength as it'll stay in the best area for development in the East Pacific longer, which is south of that 20 degrees north threshold. As you can see, most of the East Pacific storms that we're talking about here on the GFS model stay below that threshold to remain in any sort of peak conditions and peak strength. So, of course, we will have to wait and see with this storm system, but it does seem pretty likely. It just went up to 60% chance. So, 60% chance in 48 hours. But it does seem like this is going to form out of the East Pacific right alongside Darby, which is now moving into the Central Pacific here. And we will have to start to look out for that because that could move just to the south of Hawaii as it's moving to the west there. So we will have to kind of keep an eye out for that. But that is all the information that I have for today. If you found this video informative, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.